As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
So is that why we do the lentil diet in Rajab, to magnetize our iron?
You do the lentil diet because it's a diet and it's good for your heart and good to control your understanding, but that's not the whole thing of iron. So lentil diet has to do with all the realities of dieting and the desire for food, and to break that desire for food, because for 40 days you're going to eat the same thing and then you become more aware of ourselves during seclusion. But iron is iron, cleaning the iron is through the energy and through spiritual practices, the diet, the drink and everything in our lives. It's not just lentils, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, how often should we do hijama?
For men, they say at least once a year during the warmer season inshaAllah, and only necessary on the shoulder area, that you don't have to do the whole back of the body and the heads and everywhere unless there's specific reason for that. But the shoulder area is enough to have the blood cleansed and to clean the cycle of the male system. Women already have a cycle in which to purify their blood systems, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
What is the relationship between magnetism and portals opening?
Portal's a portal, so magnetism and opening energy and moving energy fields, they have all sorts of different relations. So I don't know specifically, like if they take these magnets and begin to spin them and to alter the fabric of our environment, but magnets symbolize magnetism, and that's what's important for ourselves. And opening our own portals is by the connection and bringing this energy that Allah giving within the hearts of His servants, that we don't need the outside energy of dunya and the electromagnetic field of the earth, but we need to make the connection towards Allah. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh Nurjan. Thank you for watching the video that you're watching. InshaAllah, if you're happy with the content and happy with these programs, please support the button below, the programs that we have for our orphanage repairs, our water well, Give the Gift of Life, our mobile food vans. We have now 5 vans: Vancouver, Chicago, Los Angeles, Pakistan. There's many programs that reach thousands of people and rescue foods and give those supplies to people in need. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, be so kind as to leave loving comments, and please share the stream. Every bit counts. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Azawajjal's Divinely field of energies, and this is from heart to heart, and to make the connection heart to heart so that we can reach to the heart of Prophet inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you for this blessed teaching. Sayyidi, what is the spiritual meaning when there is a lack of iron in the body physically?
Yeah, this is a depletion of iron because of the situation, diet and the conditions of the earth, and it's going to affect people's spiritual connection, because low iron causes many different difficulties, weakness within the body, weakness within the heart. The oxygen within the body also becomes affected for people whom their iron is very low, and retaining oxygen within their system. So medically it's required for people to take their energy level and iron levels up, but spiritually it can create a difficulty because of the deficit of iron. So again, eating foods that are good for you, nourishing for you, I think we've put out before the moringa powder, the moringa pills and vitamins, they have 10 times the amount of iron of other foods, and they're extremely helpful in replenishing people's iron levels. And dates are rich in irons and miraculous in nature. So whatever people can do medically to raise back their level to an even keel so that they can do their spiritual practices and feel the energy from their practices, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Shaykh.
Wa alaykum salam.
Thank you for sharing this wisdom. I'm a new follower of your channel and the Sufi tradition. Please forgive my ignorance. We have a question regarding ascending the ring dimension video you posted. You said the people around us change as we ascend the dimension. They become completely different people. Does this mean I'm leaving my loved ones in the previous dimension? I'm speaking about my spouse and child.
It doesn't mean that you're leaving the loved ones, because in every dimension of your reality, in this reality they exist, but you operate from a different reality. That as your spiritual practices progress and you learn self-discipline and we begin to do all of the practices, maybe for example if somebody was always combative, when they learn the disciplines and the practices, Allah begins to elevate their status and their reality, and they find it less necessary to be combative ourselves, because we can only fix ourselves. The same people on their dimension are still always arguing about everything, for example. And when somebody's been elevated and Allah raised their dimension, means that they're no longer in a need to engage at that. They remain more quiet, they go and wash and do their practices. And eventually people will begin to rise in their spiritual practices, and that they're not drawn into those arguments, they're not drawn into those types of characteristics. And by nature the other party may try to rise thinking that, oh the character you exhibit is much better than this, and they begin to try to elevate themselves, or they begin to operate within a different circle. And people find themselves more by themselves doing their practices, and other people feel very combative and aggressive. So they operate within their own atmosphere, to say something for lack of words to understand. It's like playing with somebody and they beat to a different drum. So you can be in an environment, it seems somebody's hearing their own thing, doing their own drumming to whatever they're hearing. So it means it seems that they're in their own atmosphere doing their own thing. So everybody has a bubble in which they operate. So when Allah levitates and make the person to move and traverse into deeper realities, they don't find it necessary to fight over everything. And they feel it difficult in their spiritual practices, they don't need to argue about, they don't need to do all these things. And they find comfort within their practices and their spirituality, and they still remain amongst people, and the other people still may be arguing and yelling, and doesn't interfere, as if they have their own field of energy. So we feel ourselves to have elevated if we sort of uplift ourselves. You can see when you first came and everybody was combative about every subject, they got to fight about every word of everything, and people will recognize when Allah lifted them that they feel it's not necessary, and they feel regret when they do go back to that lower type of character. But the same characters are all around us, and sometimes by exhibiting this beatific character it can uplift the entire home, because the children will learn this new type of character and they'll be uplifted. And then other family members may learn, unless their shaitans really dig in and try to take them lower. So this is a whole system of spiritual movement, inshaAllah.
Say this question seems Many people from around the world are asking this question from many different cities. Assalamu alaikum, Sayyidi.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
To put the faith in action and get the nazar of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and his divine daughter, we wish to prepare at any time. Are we allowed to go out and serve under the name of the SMC and Sayyidina Fatima Zahra alayhi salam, asking for your permission and divine support, and to get Fatima Zahra Helping Hand t-shirts?
Sure, as long as they get the t-shirts, make the t-shirts and just notify us what they're intending to do, so that it's under the nazar of the shaykhs and people not sort of operating on their own, and then they go out and ask for charity, ask for donations. So we've had people make pages and then they start to ask for donations. So everything with us is very controlled, very disciplined. So as long as you want to do something, then you help us at email and the subject is, I want to give food in such and such, and then we'll reply to you on how to do that. You can take the specs of the shirt to order it. If you're in a region that you can print it cheaper, and print your own shirt. And then we give you the colour and we can send the logo and all the information, and then we slowly work with you on how you're going to distribute the food and how to help. And that it becomes something beatific and beneficial for people, so alhamdulillah.
As-salamu alaykum, Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, I've recently discovered the Muhammadan way in the last few months and have been enjoying the content. I've been able to contribute to your charity. I have been suffering chronic pains for many years, so I'm trying to live by the standards I learned from your path. My family are pushing me to see spiritual healers. As I'm trying to live according to the Quran and Sunnah, I fear these healers are perhaps not taking energy from a good place. Can you please advise me on whether it is okay to see such healers? It seems they have very good testimonials as well.
Yeah, again that I can't speak to that because that's your life. But if you understand our system, that once you come to a shaykh you try to get your remedy from the shaykh, because healers become like a shaykh for you. Recite this, do like this, give like this, do like this. And yes, there are positive and negatives amongst the different ones, so we can't speak to who it is. But if Allah guides you to a shaykh, then try to stick within that guidance. You email, help me, and they sent you the information for the ta'weezes, send the information for the muraqabah, the connection. There must be a hikmah on why Allah guided you to this shaykh. Now have you used all of their equipment? You got your ta'weez, you learned how to make your muraqabah, you put the ta'weezes in the house and all of these systems in which Allah guided us. But if we take it upon ourselves and the guidance of other family members and go left and right, then we won't know where things went wrong. And that's the problem, is because now you're mixing people, I mix with this shaykh and that one gave me this and this one told me to recite this, and it can go all over the place very quick. So our life was always one way, and if it doesn't work you're free to leave and find your own way. But at least you have to have followed the way the shaykh has given, that take the ta'weez, do the meditations, do the practices. Every sickness has a remedy. If Allah wants to give the remedy, He must have opened a door towards that direction. And then through patience and perseverance the people practice and learn. So we learn how to fish, not necessarily found somebody to give us a fish. So if there's an energy attacking, causing pain, it's probably better to slowly learn how to build our energy, build our spiritual practices to repel pain. Because if Allah gave me pain, why I need to go to a man to take my pain away? Is he competing with Allah? No, but if Allah gave me pain and said, go to these people who will train you, and they begin to give you their protections, their teachings, their way, then it was probably meant for me to train to become strong, not take away something Allah gave. Allah if He didn't want me to have it He would have taken it away Himself. But people don't have patience, and other people sometimes misguide people by pushing them into different hands in different directions. So we have a very clear understanding about healing. That's why we get many emails, "I haven't had a job 2 weeks, answer me right now, answer me right now." No, we're not here to give you a job, it's not an employment agency. Go to your local employment agency. The tariqah is not about that. The tariqah is about building people, that if you haven't had a job for a year, well, maybe Allah cut your rizq. But we're not here to give you an employment agency, and make you to be employed tomorrow by 10 people. We're not in competition with Allah, charlatans. People have a lot of experience with magicians and charlatans, but we're definitely not of that understanding. Whatever Allah gave you, we are Allah's servants and you're under the same command. Whatever Allah doesn't want you to have, you will not have. Whatever Allah has taken away from you, you will not get back. But when Allah guides you to guidance is He wants something, something was missing. So they come with patience and try to have good character, "Shaykh, what should I do?" So do your muraqabah, do your meditations, do your practices, give in your charity, put your taweez, learn all of these realities. Then they start to do and do and do. If Allah finds satisfaction, He relieves the person because He gave it to them to get their attention. So there's a difference between competing with Allah and working for Allah or for Prophet. So we are of the kind that we work for them, that we teach this love and this ishq. Nothing comes fast, nothing leaves fast. So everything is just slow and progressive to build ourselves for the long run, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
So does the reality of the magnetism result in shahadah, witnessing, since the qamar is with the sun, a sign of eternity?
Yeah, the magnetism, the muraqabah is drawing you near to the reality. Anyone who draws near to the reality is drawing near to their witnessing, right? So the shahadah for everybody to enter into Islam is imitated because you're saying, "I testify to the oneness of Allah, I testify that Muhammad is the Rasul." But the testimony has to be witnessed and seen through the heart. But the imitated shahadah is accepted, and through their meditation and their muraqabah they're trying to gain the reality of entering into Islam. That's why the outside people, they don't understand when the shaykhs are saying, "Oh, you guys say you're Islam and everything else is imitated." Exactly, just straight at the front door. When you said your shahadah, did you see anything? So that's not a testimony of faith. How are you testifying to something you haven't seen? Allah can never be seen. You're testifying to the oneness of Allah. And then I testify that Muhammad is Rasulullah, that can be seen. And then at that time in a court of law your testimony is true. So since we know it's imitated, we take a life in which to make it to be real, Ya Rab. Then when we study and we study and we study with the shaykh, we find that these ulul am, they carry the light of Muhammadun Rasulullah because they are the hadith al-Qudsi. They see with the light, they hear with that light, they speak with His light, their hands are with the light, their feet are with that light. So when you're in their presence, who's looking at you? Is Muhammadun Rasulullah. So by being in their presence, at least now your shahadah is even more real because he's witnessing through their eyes, he speaks through their tongue, he hears through their ears, and that's why then you take bayat with them and initiation because Prophet's hand upon their hand, Allah's hand upon all of them. So that's the reality of Allah wanting their Islam to be real, is go to take bayat with them and be with them. Now your Islam is real because you took your bayat, you took your initiation. Now as a result sit with them to build and to become the people of shuhud and the people of Ahlul Basira, in which they operate through their heart and their heart can see and feel and sense. And this is what's important, otherwise people operating through their brain are extremely dangerous because one day the brain is this, the next day the brain is that. One who operates through their heart, They have a hushya, softness, they have a love and they have a tenderness in their character. Not through their aqal in their brain but through their qalb. And qalbul mu'min baytullah, because their heart is the house of Allah. InshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, I'm doing the daily awrad and meditations. However, sometimes I can still feel negativity in my home. No music is played or bad films. Even though I'm doing extra zikr, sometimes it gets to a point where I can feel negative beings around me whilst I sleep, and this causes disturbing dreams or fear whilst praying, especially at Fajr time. What else can I do to get rid of this negativity in my house?
You can't. Why do you have to get rid of negativity in your house? Shaitan entered into paradise and took down Adam in paradise. So why your house is more powerful than paradise? So no one said you're going to take everything down and now you're going to create a barrier where shaitan will never come and all your house will be walking on water and everybody in the house will be walking on water and there'll be arguments. No, shaitan is everywhere, he has access to everything. So there's going to be fights and yelling and screaming and then devils and bad energy, and every time the kids come home they bring all the bad energy of the school with the rats and cockroaches and snakes of jinn. So every time somebody's coming and going there's all sorts of negative energies which is not going to be something that purged, but shayateen they can't enter. So negative is everywhere, it's going to be coming in like the wind, in and out, in and out. But what your practices are for are the real bad ones. When they see those ta'weezes, they see the mu'min jinn within the home, then that's off limits for them inshaAllah, and that's the only concern. Now when you're sitting and meditating, we said before, if you do more zikr than was prescribed you become hyper alert. If you didn't reach the level of muraqabah and connection with the shaykh, why do you want to be hyper alert? So you weren't told to do those things, you were told to do the zikrs and the awrads that you have, and you were told to make connection with the shaykh. But people just sort of want to hear what they want, what we call selective hearing. And I don't know it's specifically you, but it's the 10,000 emails that come through that I'm reciting this, I'm reciting that, I'm in this amount of this amount of that. And what happens is they become super alert, sensitive and lateef in their energy. But if they didn't build their madad first, what happens then? They don't have the system of bringing the shaykh in to fight off any type of energy. They just become very sensitive to energy and very scared because they don't understand what's this feeling, who's in the room. But when they have their madad training, the presence of the shaykh is with them, they don't care who's in the room. Many awliya may come in the room, many jinn may be in the room praying. So they should have overcome their fear with a strong sense of their madad and their connection. So everything has a system, we try to stick within the system. So the first system is that you do the basic awrad to make your connection, that's like your phone call with them. That is the phone call. Then you make the connection that you're strong in your connection with the shaykh, be present with me now that I'm going to pray my fajr, I feel the presence of the shaykh. I sit after the shaykh, after the awrad I'm listening to Surat Yasin, I listen to Shaykh Nazim's voice on Surat Yasin, I visualize I'm in the presence of Mawlana Shaykh and I'm connecting, that's all I'm interested in is the connection. Then I make my salawats and my zikrs and everything with my connection. So those are the systems in which to keep our protection. Because once you're strong in your connection, your shaykhs are with you, what is there to be scared of? If anything's coming, the shaykh is authorizing for you to now train, push it away, don't fear it, don't talk about it, don't think about it. So before you could pray and you feel like it's stinging, and then you would feel through your connection, don't worry about it, don't focus on that. So things could appear on your sajadah and anything to test you to see if you're scared. But if you're strong in your muraqabah, they tell you, don't think about it, just keep praying, keep praying. But imagine that you don't have that muraqabah, you don't have that strong madad and connection, and you just everything would be extremely frightening, and that was not the level of training that the person had opened yet. So each level is important to achieve, and this most important level is the connection with the shaykh. So every other level subsequent will be based on that madad, not based on awrads and zikrs, recite this one, this one, 10,000 different ones, because then you become hyper alert with no foundation, inshaAllah. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifoon wa salaamun ala mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen bi hurmati Muhammad al-Mustafa wa bi sirri Suratil Fatiha. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh Nurjan. Thank you for watching the video that you're watching. InshaAllah, if you're happy with the content and happy with these programs, please support the button below, the programs that we have for our orphanage repairs, our water well, Give the Gift of Life, our mobile food vans. We have now 5 vans: Vancouver, Chicago, Los Angeles, Pakistan. There's many programs that reach thousands of people and rescue foods and give those supplies to people in need. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, be so kind as to leave loving comments, and please share the stream. Every bit counts. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.